Yes. Today we're going to give a listen to The Mercy Seat by Nick Cave. Are you ready?
Fire away.
I'm ready.
Right.
Yep.
Here we go.
I began to warm and chill to objects in their fields, a ragged cup, a twisted mop, the face of Jesus in my soup, those sinister dinner deals, the meal trolley's wicked wheels, a hook bone rising from my food. All things good or ungood, and the mercy seat is awaiting, and I think my head is burning. In a way I'm yearning to be done with all this weighing up a truth, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And anyway I told the truth, and I'm not afraid to die. Interpret sign and catalog, a blackened tooth, a scarlet fog. The walls are bad, black bottom kind, the other sick breath at my hind. And I hear stories from the chamber, how Christ was born into a manger, and like some ragged stranger died upon the cross. And might I say it seems so fitting in his way, he was a carpenter by trade, or at least that's what I'm told. My kill hand is evil across his brother's fist. That filthy five did nothing to challenge or resist. In heaven his throne is made of gold, and the ark of his testament is stowed, a throne from which I'm told all history does unfold. Down here it's made of a wooden wire, and in my body is on fire. God is never far away. My kill hand is called evil, wears a wedding band that's good. 'Tis a long suffering shackle, collaring all that rebel blood. And the mercy seat is awaiting, and I think my head is burning. In a way I'm yearning to be done with all this weighing up a truth, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And anyway I told the truth, and I'm not afraid to die. And the mercy seat is burning, and I think my head is glowing. In a way I'm hoping to be done with all this weighing up a truth, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And I got nothing left to lose, and I'm not afraid to die. And the mercy seat is smoking, and I think my head is boiling. In a way it's spoiling all the fun with all this truth and consequence. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And anyway I told the truth, but I'm afraid I told a lie.
I love
nobody
his
quite.
voice.
Yeah. There's nobody quite like Nick Cave.
Man, I love it. It's like kind of, what do you call it? Like
an Old Testament prophet.
yeah, he is, and it's like a almost a dirge. I don't know the way he's. I don't know how to describe it, but the way he sings, it's heavy and thick, and yeah, I love it.
Just listening to those Lazarus album. Have you heard?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
similar notes.
Mm-hmm.
Road. The mercy seat. So he's going for the lighter subject matter here, huh?
Yeah. Now, what is the mercy seat?
It's the part of the Ark of the Covenant where God is supposed to live or reside or abide or whatever you call it,
Mm-hmm.
while the Israelites are going through the wilderness.
Well, there's also the prophetic aspect of it, right? Where you're standing, isn't it the judgment seat? Isn't that also, are those terms synonymous?
Well, I think that's the idea when the high priest goes in on Yom Kippur to the Ark to like do the sacrifices and stuff like that. I think those things might be connected. I could be wrong, but I think those things are connected because you go to the Ark and then do the sacrificing, and hopefully they don't have to drag you out by the rope because you've fallen dead.
I feel like we need Mark Kirchhoff here.
Right? We need some sort of like Old Testament scholar to walk us through all this.
Now,
I think the idea though is it is about judgment. There's an element of judgment, but it's also like where God abides.
Well, there's absolutely, right. He talks about this over and over again, a weighing up of truth, right? This is the reckoning, right? I do that's how I'm reading this, right? He is anticipating his moment of reckoning, and is exhausted. It comes up a lot, right?
yeah.
It makes me think. I've heard. I don't know where I heard this. Someone was talking about. Someone was reflecting on they had written a lot of crime drama because they'd worked in the police force, and they said, if you want to know who's guilty, drop in the cell the night before, and the one who's sleeping most soundly, that's probably your man, right? And the theory is that they have been awake 24/7 since they committed this crime, freaking out, and finally they're busted, and now they can sleep, right? And I kind of got some of the sense, like, this is a bad person, right? This is somebody who's done some shit. And
you know what? The image that was coming to mind as I was listening to it was the electric chair. Because, his head is boiling, and
that makes great sense.
The chair is made of wood and wire on the earth.
That's got to be it. That's got to be the imagery.
The mercy seat is smoking. But then the Ark of the Covenant thing. It seems like they're both in this.
To call that judgment mercy, though, right? It's not what you would think,
right?
But it might be if you're on death row and you're just ready to be over with it.
Well, it's really interesting because what in the refrain he says, "But I'm not afraid to die," right? But I'm not afraid to die, and then he closes with, "But I'm afraid I told a lie."
Right.
So
Right.
he's there's a lot of this bravado, right? Like, yeah, I'm ready. Bring it on. Like, well, maybe not.
Until death is actually imminent. Yeah. So I have a question. What does kill hand mean? That's a phrase I'm not familiar with.
That's a good question.
Well, it's an evil in all caps. So is that an acronym, or is it just stressed? It's interesting how it's written. Like kill hand is
Good is the same. It's or later.
Yeah. And I pulled the lyrics off of his website, so that's how he had it written. Just a quick search on kill hand. It is a type of a game of poker, is one thing. To kill a pot means to post an overblind that increases the betting limit. I don't know anything about poker, so.
Neither do I. But if it's talking about increasing the betting limit, maybe he's talking about like upping the ante or whatever, like as it goes along. Like he's risking more and more and more.
I
don't know.
Huh. All right, I'm looking at. Oh, it also seems to have a reference to the Ark of the Covenant as well.
The kill hand?
Yeah.
Oh, is that like when you
Interesting.
touch? Is that the who was the soldier that reached out to
steady it?
to steady it and he dropped dead? Is that?
Just try to. The left hand is the Lord's kingdom. Seems to be something about the left hand being. Here. The left hand and the right hand is two olive trees which stand before the Lord of the earth in the book of Revelations. See.
Well,
Yeah. It seems, I'm not sure. It seems to have something to do with one hand being human on the human side and one hand being on the heavenly side.
Yeah. I wonder if that has anything to do with judgment too. You know how because it keeps talking about the weighing of the truth, and I'm picturing the woman, who's blindfolded, and you're
blind
judged up and
justice.
down. You know what I mean? Because he keeps talking about the weighing of the truth, and obviously the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. All those are all old Levitical kind of judgment kinds of things. I mean, he's obviously doing both, because he talks about in heaven his throne is made of gold, the ark of his testament is stowed, a throne from which I'm told all history does unfold. So that's clearly the Ark of the Covenant kind of imagery. But then he goes directly to what you said, Brian. Down here it's made of wood and wire, and my body's on fire, and God's never far away. So
right.
he's playing with the two images. Yep. God's throne and the electric chair.
Right.
So bonkers. Go for it.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's a lot of judgment going on here.
But it feels very much like, that this is a relief, right? It's exhausting when it's when it's up to him, this weighing of the truth, this adding up, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, right? This is exhausting, right? Like he seems to welcome someone else finally weighing in. Right. So even to call the electric chair or the execution chair a mercy seat is a way of saying, I think this is too much for me. You know?
Yeah. Well, I wonder if that's part of the tag at the end, because he keeps saying, but I'm not afraid to die. And then he says, in any way, I told a lie, but he says that after, and I'm afraid. So you kind of wonder, like, is the lie that he's not afraid to die? And the truth is he is afraid to die. And that's the kind of terrifying thing at the end.
Oh, I would say 100%, right? That any bravado that he was putting out there, any kind of distance from the whole process that he's kind of feigning is not it's just a front.
Well, I mean, because you could kind of read it two ways, because he says all throughout, like, in any way I told the truth. So maybe he's like like if you're going up and you're saying, like, I'm being executed for the wrong thing, I didn't lie, I told the truth, I'm innocent, all that kind of a thing. It's possible to read it at the end where he's part of what he's afraid about is that he did lie and that judgment's coming. He's not an innocent person being executed. He's a guilty person being executed, and that's reason for fear. Because if you're innocent and you're being executed, maybe you don't need to be afraid of judgment and death. But if you're guilty, maybe you do. So I think there's two ways of reading that end. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
Or both. It wouldn't be beyond Nick Cave to.
No, he's already juggling two different meanings. Yeah. So, yeah.
Or just that sort of, again, that distance, watching this like he's some kind of bystander, not really moved by the gravity of the situation. And then, I feel like there's maybe that I told a lie. There's some complicity there, right? Like he's not completely innocent.
Yeah. There's a section here that, what do you guys think this means? My kill hand is evil across its brother's fist. That filthy five. I'm assuming that means 5 fingers. They did nothing to challenge. They did nothing to challenge or resist. What do you think that's about? Maybe.
I feel like I've seen an image of a fist with evil written in it across each of the 4.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Like
right? The tattoo, the knuckle tattoo, right? My kill hand is evil.
Maybe that's the evil and good.
Right. That's the name of his kill hand, right? Evil and good. Yeah. Across its brother's fist. That filthy five. I did nothing to challenge or resist. So there's at least that admission of guilt that, even if it's guilt by omission, right? I didn't get in the way. I didn't.
Well, and then another, just a little bit down from there, it says, my kill hand is called evil, wears a wedding band that's good. 'Tis a long-suffering shackle, collaring all that rebel blood.
Man, I feel like we need like a week heads up on these things, Bryan, so we can all do the research.
Yes, but that wouldn't be a reaction.
I like it. I think that's kind of cool because I can imagine like one fist that says evil and one fist that says good, with the wedding band on the good. But I can also imagine evil, but the wedding band is like the good thing that happens. It's like some sort of juxtaposition that the wedding band is something about good, like a covenant or whatever, that's not broken, but still on the evil. I don't know.
Shit.
And then he has this paragraph. He's got all this Old Testament judgment going on, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Everything is very much calculated, right? Judgment is in the balance. And then he just drops this paragraph about, I hear stories from the chamber, our Christ was born in the manger, like some ragged stranger died upon the cross. I might say it seems so fitting in its way. He was a carpenter trader, at least I'm told. And then he just he just leaves it there, right? He just leaves it there.
What do you think the first section is about? I'm very confused by this. I began to warm and chill to objects in their field and their fields, a ragged cup, a twisted mop, the face of Jesus in my soup, those sinister dinner deals, the meal trolley's wicked wheels, a hooked bone rising from my food, all things good or ungood. You think that's
what came to mind when I was after hearing and seeing the rest of it was that it had something to do with prison, but
yeah, this feels like death row.
Yeah.
I suppose if you're like, is it like a meal trolley coming down the death row thing, and that it's the last meal, the last supper kind of a thing?
Yeah. Which is,
I got it.
The last meal is a good thing and a horrible thing.
Yeah. So it's like, it's warm and chill. Yeah.
Right. And it's, it's got, your food's coming, but it's got a hooked bone sticking out of it.
The face of Jesus in my soup. There's the soundtrack, The Dead Man Walking. It's it's actually based on a Ry Cooder project where it's sort of Delta blues meets Eastern sitar, and it's got this really soulful yearning to it. And anyways, that's sort of what drove this album. And then they reached out to all these storytellers. And Johnny Cash has a song on it called "In Your Mind," and he's just sitting on death row in all the mind tricks going on. But that whole album is actually around this moment of Dead Man Walking, right?
Yeah, that's an amazing movie.
It is. And that the soundtrack, if you haven't heard it, I highly recommend it. Eddie Vedder, man, brings some amazing. He's got 2 songs on it, "Face of Love" and something else. But just, it's a great lineup. Bruce Springsteen.
Nick Cave and Eddie Vedder have a similar timbre about their voices too.
Yeah. But I love it when these artists get out of their comfort. I mean, this is Nick Cave's comfort zone, but when some of these more popular artists get out of their comfort zone and they take on these projects that really push them, it's sometimes yields some really good music, especially around a theme like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my takeaway on this is this sort of how exhausting it is to be lawless and to be kind of the one that's doing all the math, trying to figure out, how things add up, and this, and maybe it's only a feigned sense of relief, but I think there is some relief that I get from this at some point, and it's just good to have it done.
He's got these little things that are throughout that are just challenging to try to understand what he's getting at, which I love. Interpret signs in catalog, a blackened tooth, a scarlet fog. The walls are bad, black, bottom kind. They are the sick breath at sick breath at my hind feels like dogs chasing at its heels.
Yeah. The walls again make me think of prison.
The next stanza feels like it's the priest or whatever coming in to do last rites, you know. But this section above it is just like, what is that? I'm at a loss.
I think he's creating atmosphere.
Okay.
I think that,
Or he's yeah. I could also
I mean,
see
that's not the cheaping it, right?
No. Yeah, I just get images of somebody walking, you know, the final walk and past, you know, other prisoners or, you know, and then trying to make sense of what they're walking past in the moment.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I do think going back to my kill hand is evil across my brother's fist, I think that's all we're going to get from this was the deed. This is what put him here. Whatever it was that went down, right? And maybe that's connected to the lie. Like this, you know, maybe he did more than that. He's not telling. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
was it in Dead Men Walking when they talk about like everybody on death row is innocent? Not that they are, just that's what everybody sort of claims. But you know, but he sort of stood out as like a person who didn't claim to be innocent.
I mean, certainly that sentiment you hear a lot. It's been a while since I've watched the movie, so I can't recall that in particular. But that theme of the face of love, that regardless, guilty or innocent, you deserve to be treated like a human being, you know? And that's not necessarily meaning, I don't know if the sentiment is you don't deserve to die for your deeds. I don't think she was weighing in on that at all. The nun, I mean, it's a true story, right? The nun but you deserve to be given the dignity of your humanity right to the end. And he wasn't, except for her, right? This is that face of love. It's a powerful film.
Yeah.
And how quickly we are we're ready to label someone as a monster. And that, you know, there's that line of but the grace of God go I, right? It's like it's just easier to demonize somebody who did bad things. It's just easier to think of him as a monster so that we don't have to come to terms with those, you know, with that in ourselves.
Yeah. Bryan Stevenson, who does the work, I think he's based in Georgia, to try to get people who are on death row off if they've been proven innocent. He has a quote that says something to the effect of, you know, we shouldn't judge anybody by their worst day or the actions on their worst day. That, you know, somebody's actions on their worst day could be deadly. Others may not have those same consequences, but we certainly wouldn't want to be judged by only our worst day if we had better days before or after. There's just this sort of approach of grace. It's really lovely. Yeah, I think is it IJM? Is it International Justice? I don't remember what the name of his organization is. I have to look it up again. Is it EJ?
This is the one that they actually made a film about this guy's work. It's coming out of like Alabama, right?
Just Mercy is the name of the movie that they made. about him
Yeah.
as a lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just really like that quote. It's humbling. How many of us had really, really horrible days, and those have never been brought to light? You know?
Nor do we want them. Right.
Right?
All right. Well, there you have it.
I'll throw out one more song that this reminds me of. It's a Dire
Okay.
Straits. It's called "The Man's Too Strong."
Strong, yeah.
The man's too strong.
Man's too big, the man's too strong.
Man's too big. The man's too strong. It's a mercenary, kind of in the same, reflecting back on a life that was maybe by his comrade standards well lived and heroic and with lots of bravado. But now he's got the man's too big, the man's too strong. So musically, it's phenomenal as well.
Yeah, that's an awesome tune. Cool.
Sweet.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks, Bryan.
Yeah, you
Thank
bet.
you.
Yep.